What's up, everybody? Okay, I've been wanting to talk about this. I happen to be on the Rock the Bells website. I've been looking for something to talk about that I actually want to talk about and I'm passionate about. And I saw this. This was posted a while ago. Who wrote this? Was this written by Jaquan? Well, this is half a year ago. Shout out to Jaquan. I'm assuming it's Jaquan of the Foundation. If so, shout out to you, my man. Says Missy Elliott makes history as first female rapper with 6 consecutive platinum albums. I mean, I didn't know this, but I am not surprised at all because I owned at least 2 of these albums. I owned The Real World and Missy So Addictive. I think those 2, yeah. So I got onto Missy when on this album, the second one, The Real World. That's when I started listening to Missy. I think I've said this before. The first Missy song I think I ever heard was She's a Bitch. And I was like, who is this? Type of thing, right? This is back in Saudi. It was like the one Missy song. And I think it was that and The Rain. So I heard them relatively close together. But I didn't hear Super Duper Fly, the album, until, I would say like a good 10 years after the fact. Because that came out in 96 or something like that. 96, 97. Yeah, I wasn't close to hip hop. Again, 97 was really the year I started to like really dig. So if it came out in 96, I was not even really focusing on hip hop like that. But I remember hearing She's a Bitch and being like, oh, this chick is on some other shit. Like, who calls themselves a bitch? And makes it fly and all this stuff. That's attitude. That's intelligence, right? Anyway, so it says Missy Elliott has made history as the first and only female rap artist to achieve platinum sales. Again, this is why I say that Missy is this is not the only reason, and I didn't even know about this. So obviously, this cannot be the reason why I put Missy so high on my list. If you guys know me, I did a list about the greatest rappers ever. Let's go to Hip Hop Tochi, right? I think I'll show you guys on my Instagram. We might as well take a look at that, right? Why not? So, top 50 greatest rappers of all time, and Missy is number 11. And I know that some people, of course, the pseudo hip hop heads are like, Missy Elliott, she don't have bars like that. Why is she up on the list? Why isn't Immortal Technique on? It's like, you don't listen to rap, homie. You don't really know what's going on here, okay? Missy is one of the greatest rappers ever. It's just obvious, right? Again, with or without the platinum sales, even though for someone to go platinum pretty much every single time she came out, she went platinum in a world where she was making hip-hop, like straight-up hip-hop, right? Yeah, okay, there was a mix of like, a little bit of R&B and pop, but ultimately it was hip-hop, it was innovative. To do that over and over again tells you that Missy was that chick. And I remember that shit because literally every fucking time she had a new album, it was a new sound. I couldn't believe it. Even back then, I used to think this shit. I was like, how is she doing this? Because she literally would talk about this even on subsequent albums, how people would always bite. She'd come, Super Duper Fly sounds nothing like The Real World, which sounds nothing like So Addictive. Then she goes back Under Construction, some old school shit, and she just kept hopping, and every time it was ill and that Missy vibe. So anyways, I'm a big Missy fan. I've always loved Missy, and she seems to be a cool chick. I don't know her, right? She seems like a cool person. But the point is, I think people really underestimate how well Missy writes. This is something that doesn't come up in conversation because most of these hip-hop heads don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I was like, I need to talk about this video, The Rain, because you really see the writing genius, in my opinion, in very early in something like The Rain, right? So we'll go through it, and I'll do my also reaction to the video because I love this video. I mean, it always puts me in a good mood. She's like, ah. I love that shit. Now, yeah, again, pure vocals, great vocals. It's so good it made its way into a beat, right?
Man, he must have bumped his motherfucking head or something.
Anyway, So you already know Missy, one of the greats, no doubt about it. Anyway, back to Missy. It's so dope. Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly. Let's go.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly.
I can't stand it.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly.
Sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but there's so much going on here. The dancing is dope. It's fun, right? Again, people forget that hip hop is jokes. This is something that's missing from a lot of modern rap. Just pure jokes, right? But still street, still hard, still has that fun, still edgy, right? Who's doing that? And I mean, not fun like I smoke my ops, ha ha ha, so funny. Not stupid shit like that. That's dumb shit. For a teenager would think a little, dweeb shit like that. But I'm talking just genuine fun, right? She's complaining about the rain. That's some fun shit. That's the kind of thing a kid would dream up and be like, oh man, I wish I could go outside, but it's raining. Oh no. Or I want to go outside, it's raining. And your parents are like, no, right? So again, like creativity. Let's get back to just being human, right? Human beings think of all kinds of things, right? It's only in hip hop, again, in the last particularly 20 years, that it's so watered down where people just think about Chanel and like simple shit. Constantly. Like, you wake up and think about handbags? Like, are you fucking high? Anyway. So, let's go into this Missy shit.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly. When the rain hits my window, I take it. Me and Timbaland, ooh, we sang a jangle.
We so tight
that you get our styles.
I love that.
So you go like you loco. Can we get wicked tonight like Coco?
So.
You wanna play with
My yo-yo.
I smoke my
on the kilo. Okay, let me go back to this because, again, this is simple. Someone's going to be like, there's no bars. But there's actually saying some ill shit. When the rain hits my window. Again, simple. It's not a bar, but it's clear visually. Any poet worth his salt or her salt will tell you that clarity is the number one thing in writing anyways. If you don't have clarity, you don't have shit. Clarity is king. When the rain hits my window, you're like, oh, okay, I can picture it. Rain hits window. Very clear, it's a good visual. It's a very calming visual, actually. And colorful in its own right. And I love, again, she doesn't say, I take and puff in some Indo. She doesn't have to tell you that shit, right? That's smart writing. She's like, I take, puff some Indo. You have to remember, now, I don't know if people were doing this before Missy, but Missy is arguably the first person I ever heard that where it had the beep, beep, skirt, all that shit that like literally all these, new niggas do and have been doing for the last 20 years, puff, all that shit. Missy did that shit. Filling in bars with ad-libs, random little shit like that. It's very colorful. It's very creative. Right now, I know Method Man did the smoke from the blunt makes me, right? That was cool. That was really dope. And I remember thinking, wow, that's fucking clever, right? But again, Missy kind of, she's a woo head anyway. But the point is, she really added a lot of that fun and flavor to her rhymes using sound effects to complete her thoughts. And I'm sorry, but that shit's fire. That's fire. It's just well done. So anyways, me and Timbaland, ooh, we sang a jangle. It's like a tune. Who uses the word jangle? That's some old school shit, right? But it's smart. I mean, again, it's a word choice that you just wouldn't hear somebody say, like jangle. We so tight that you get our styles tangled. That's a great line, right? Sway or do-si-do like you loco. This is the line to me that is like, who says this? Again, it's simple, but you would never think of this. I would never think of this. Most people on the planet would never think of a line like this and put sway or do-si-do like you loco. It's perfect vocally, rhythmically, like the image of sway or do-si-do, right? And I'm sorry, but this is fucking brilliant. Okay? And you, so those who don't like you loco, right? Can we get kinky tonight like Coco? Oh, that's great. I mean, this is brilliant. Okay, this is referential, right? So, the SWV reference, right? And then she has Coco in the video. This is so ill. Like, these are the kind of things. Hip hop is done. Hip hop is so done because everyone's got an ego now, right? But back then, people could make music and they were all friends, and they could just be like, can you just come to my video? Like I mentioned doing my video, they'd be like, oh shit, all right, come on. Like, I don't think there was payments or any of that stuff back and forth. And I understand it. As things get bigger, obviously, and, hip-hop in 1996 or whenever this was made, 96, 97, was way smaller than it is now. Understandably so. But my point is that's why, in a way, things like this could never be made again. Because it's just friendship and the egos weren't there. And people could just hang out and sponge off each other and it was all creative people. There wasn't like corny niggas and corny chicks were not really, every once in a while, of course, someone would break through that was corny and lame. But in general, most of the people that were respected in hip hop and certainly making that shit that we all remember to this very day, they were all very talented in their own right. Anyway, so I've said enough, but this is great, man. So you don't want to play with my yo-yo. She's obviously not talking. She's obviously talking about a different kind of yo-yo, right? But again, this is a reference to yo-yo. You can't play with my yo-yo. And then you have yo-yo in the video going like this. Like, come on. This shit. I smoke my hydro on the dealer. Again, this stuff is just, these are the videos that we remember. And I would argue that it's some of the greatest hip-hop videos. Because they're colorful, they're creative, they're fun. You always want to watch this, right? Why wouldn't you?
Like loco. Can we get kinky tonight like Coco?
So, you wanna play with my yo-yo?
I smoke my
pipe on the D-Lo.
I can't stand her. It's my window. I can't stand her.
And they're all, by the way, this shit.
It's my window.
This shit. To me, that's all Timbaland. Your whole, this is why I say that Timbaland is top 3, top 2 of all hip hop producers. He's the source of all this southern shit that has had the game in a chokehold for the last 20 plus years. I'm telling you, man, because honestly, hearing Timbaland back then, it was like, what is this shit? This shit's incredible, right? And all that shit, that's Timbaland, man. Anyway.
I can't stand her. It's my window.
I love how it has this sort of you're watching almost like a vaudeville sort of show. Anyways, again, art. This is art, okay? Performance. You gotta effort. Do you see how it's referencing multiple things? The rapper brought their A game to make the song. The director, Hype Williams, I believe it's Hype, brought his A game. Because again, when you make great music and you hire talented people to make your videos, they are inspired by your great music to now step it up and do great shit. Because why would somebody, it does happen, but why would somebody who is talented, who hears a song that's obviously amazing, go, I'm just going to fuck this up and make a pedestrian video? No, of course not. You would do your best and try to make something cool. So this is just classic on so many fucking levels.
I can't stand her. It's my window.
Beep, beep.
Who got the keys to the Jeep? I'm driving to the beach. Top down, loud sound, see my peeps. Give them pound down, look who it be. It be me and Timothy. Look like it's about to rain, what a shame. I got the armor or the shine at the same. Oh, Missy, try to maintain. I can't stand her.
What up, C's and Lil Kim? Okay, again, this is so dope. Beep, beep, who got the keys to the Jeep? Sound effect of a car moving. I'm telling you, when I heard this shit, I was like, this is some cool shit. Okay. It was one of those things you say it once and we will remember this for the rest of our lives. It's that fucking creative, okay? It's simple. Beep, beep, who got the... It's like, again, this is life shit, right? Who got the keys to the Jeep? Like, we're already moving. Then she's like, I'm driving to the beach. Do you see how there's a flow of thought, right? One thought moves to the next thought, and visual. I'm driving to the beach. Top down, loud sound, see my peeps, right? Visuals. Okay, I'm at the beach now. Giving pounds. Now look who it be. I'm saying what's up to my peoples. It be me, and Timothy. She's in her own world. It's about me. And also my mans, because we got our styles tangled, right? Look, it's about to rain. What a shame. You know, by the way, shout out to Cottonmouth. But Cottonmouth to me raps like this in a way. And this is kind of what I like about this. It's almost like it's a Tom Sawyer-ish literature vibe. Almost, right? Alice in Wonderland, you know, that kind of shit, right? There's literary shit going on here, right? In a very simple but very cool way. Oh, Missy, try to, you know, I got the armor all to shine up the stain, right? Armor all, because, you know, she's worried about the rain falling on her car. Like, guys, this is so basic, but this is actually very fucking intelligent. Honestly, most of your rappers cannot connect multiple thoughts, create a complete visual of something that's colorful, fun, and makes sense, right? She's worried. She's like, damn, it's about to rain on my fucking car, right? That's why she's worried. But she's got, you know, some car cleaning products, right? Again, you guys talk about car culture, southern shit, whatever. Missy was on that before. A lot of people were on that, okay? But it wasn't her personality. This is, again, part of why rap is so lame, right? Because certain things that the big rappers, they're the ones that make things cool, right? They're the ones, and they usually will bring out a whole bunch of toys. It's like, kind of like, they're making great music and let's say one might be really into cars, one might be into girls, whatever. But, like, that's not really why they're dope. They're dope because they're just interesting people. And interesting people are into interesting shit. And then someone who's less talented will be like, oh, this person made car culture cool, so I'm going to make cars everything about me. And hometown hero cars. And you're like, this is boring, right? Like, you make this lame, right? Anyway. Oh, Missy, try to maintain. Keep your composure. Ricky. This is hilarious. You know, again, it's kind of like, you know, some DJ shit, you know, and then she's like, oh, I can't stand the rain. Right. So I just think this stuff's brilliant. It's just I will always respect simplicity. Genius and simplicity often go together. You'd be surprised. Again, some things are just simple and lame. I would say quite a few things are simple and boring and corny and pathetic, but it's, you know, dumbed down. But there is, when you look at something that's genius, oftentimes there is a simplicity that runs through it. Oftentimes, unless you're talking about obviously scientific theories and things like that, which stack knowledge, you know, multiple things on top of each other, that's different. But again, if you were to break all of those theories, they're all in chains of thought, right? And chains of established sort of theories, facts, and things like that. And they're all again, you would have to break them down into their molecules, quote unquote. But each one of those molecules is usually pretty understandable, simple shit that makes sense and is observable, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So my point is, don't ever, when you're an artist, always strive for clarity, okay? It's okay to be mysterious, and it's okay to have a mysterious vibe. It's okay to, to reach for grand shit, of course. But at the core of it, it has to make sense. It has to feel right. There has to be a clarity to it. Otherwise, it's not gonna fucking work. Again, you've seen me, I've shitted on Kendrick Lamar a million times. His shit sucks to me. There's no clarity. You know, it's just, I can't even remember the lines if I was Googling now. They're dumb. there's no clarity. A deer shot at my face, and therefore the president came and hugged me. Type of weird shit. You'd be like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm supposed to think you're a Pulitzer. That's a Pulitzer Prize winning line or whatever. Anyway, moving on. My window, I can't stand her. My window. So, sorry y'all. So much is happening in this one video. It's very creative. The sets are creative. You got the giant cog in the machine, but she's the garbage bag. She's the garbage fucking up the cog in the machine or whatever. The garbage bag thing is obviously brilliant. I remember, it's so funny. This was years ago. But I remember when I was showing my dad this video, and he was just like, obviously, this is one of those songs I can understand older folk not quite getting it because it's weird. And he was just like, he looked at it and he was like, what the fuck? Like, kind of thing. And why is she in a garbage bag? Is he trying to say that she's garbage? But again, you have to look deeper here, right? You have to look a little deeper. But the point is, what I love about this video is Missy is, all the stuff she's wearing is fly. Even the garbage bag is fly, right? It's done well. And she's not, it's funny because she's selling sex, but she's actually not, it's sensual. It's very kind of slick and sly, right? I mean, the whole song, she's talking about, you can't play with my yo-yo, can we get kinky tonight? It's all sex. Well, not all of it, but quite a bit of it is sex. But she's not like, here's some fly bitches, here's some ass, blah, blah. It's like, again, the best sex, really, all things considered, is mental anyway, right? There has to be some sort of imagination going on, I would argue, but that's just my opinion. So I like how, even though she is not quite presenting sex, she is presenting sex, and it's very sly, and it's creative, which is the best, right? And on top of that, she's got the dancers, and the dancers are sexy. I mean, these girls are good. But again, these are girls who, and I want to say this, and it's going to sound corny in a way coming from me as a male, whatever, but they're being sexy on their own terms, right? Like, these are girls who are clearly, they look good and they're dancing well, but it's not like they're trying to impress me, the guy. Does that make sense? And again, I'm not saying that it's necessarily wrong to try to impress men. Of course, like, you want a girl, we're men, right? It's nice to impress us with your beauty and things like that, but ultimately there is more to women than that, right? It doesn't always have to be like that. Anyway, you get the idea. It's my window. By the way, who is this? Anyway, is that Nicole Ray? That can't be Nicole Ray. I always thought Nicole Ray was fucking cute, man. God damn. Nicole Ray, you know what? I'm gonna play Nicole Ray after this.
I feel the wind. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10. Begin. I sit on the hills like Lauren until the rain starts coming down on the I got my umbrella. My finger waves these days, they fall like chumpy. I break up with him before he jump. To have me, yes you love me,
It's great. Oh my god, this is hilarious. This is funny. Just I feel the wind. 5, 6. I mean, that's basic. That's just some Seuss type shit. Begin. I sit on the hills like Lauren, obviously Lauren Hills. Until the rain starts coming down, pour in, chill. Even the way chill. I got my umbrella. My finger waves these days. She's got finger waves for days. I don't think these days is correct. They fall like Humpty, right? So, anyways, that's the whole point, right? Because the hairstyle, like, if it rains on her hair's gonna be fucked up. Like, again, this stuff it's very, very clear. It's very, very creative. Chumpy. I break up with him before he dumped me. This is actually a really interesting line because I feel like a lot of women do this type of shit. I mean, I can't say a lot of women, but guys, you've been in this situation. I think some of us have been in this situation before where you're like, it's almost like the girl gets a jump on you. That's a great line. Most people would never say something like that. Again, like Missy she's got a brain. You know, to have me, yes, you lucky, right? And then, you know, more, I can't stand the rain, and they're no, just vibing for the rest of the way, right?
It's my window. I can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain.
Old school.
It's my window. I can't stand the rain. It's my window.
Puffy, what up?
I can't stand the rain.
Little Kim, classic. What is Total? I don't remember. That's dope.
I can't stand the
That shit's dope. I can't stand the
It's my window. I can't stand the
So, you know what I think is so interesting about this? Even just this image, right? I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, just this image of like looking all weird and almost like dweebish and stuff like that, right? But again, it's charming here. There are whole rappers that base their personality off this fucking look. And they're complete dweebs. I'm insecure. It's like, no, I don't want to listen to you. Okay? You're not good. Missy's, it's just fun. Come into my world, right? It's inviting. It's charming. So, anyway.
I can't stand it. It's my window. 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 I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
With the leg kick. This is great. Classic. Yeah, man, you know, shout out to Missy, but yeah, I definitely own some of her albums without a doubt. And that transition, particularly from That Real World to Missy, So Addictive, that was when I was like, oh, yeah. She's, again, I had kind of missed Super Duper Fly. I didn't hear it in real time, but that transition was when I was like, oh, this girl's something else. She's on some other shit. So, anyways, what do you think of Missy? I'm sure we all love Missy. I know. But just wanted to put that out there because I don't think Missy, in a way, she doesn't really get enough props in a funny way. She gets a lot of props now, which is great. But in a way, she also doesn't get enough props. Like, I think people, they look at her, they're like, oh, well, she's famous and she's platinum. And they're like, yeah, but that's not exactly why she's dope. Just because you know her hip-hop heads like myself say she's super dope, right? Then now you want to latch on. That's not it. There's more to it. It's the beats, which her and Timbaland are crafting and figuring out. It's the visuals. It's the writing. The persona, the warmth of it all. That's why Missy is arguably the greatest female rapper to ever do this shit. And one of the greatest rappers to ever do it. Okay? Clearly, this is somebody that knows hip-hop, that listens to a lot of music, right? And as her catalog goes on, you see them even start to really sample world music and travel and go all kinds of places. True hip-hop legend. Anyway, I love y'all. Later.